So guys, NIO's monthly deliveries could be pushed up to 40,000 units per month thanks to the champion edition of their cars. So based on the newest images sent to the official vehicle registry, there will indeed be a champion edition of NIO vehicles. Sort of like how the ET9 had the first edition vehicles limited to 999 units, and that just basically got snatched up within 1 hour. Like it was gone. It was actually gone within minutes, because people wanted that first edition. It was kind of very limited, prestigious, and that was gone instantly. So they're going to have the champion edition for these other vehicles, the 5566 2025 versions of these cars. And it'll be interesting to see, are these limited to like 999 units, or will they be limited to maybe 9,999 units? Like that, I think, is more likely to happen. And if that happens, people will be snatching these cars up like hotcakes. And everybody wants to be, one out of 9,999. And, especially if you have a plaque on your car that says like out of 9,999 champion edition, that's going to be, something to really brag about and something to be really proud of. And seeing how the first edition of the ET9 got really snatched up really, really quickly, yeah, they launched the 5566, each of them with 9,999 champion edition cars. That's going to be like just absolutely spectacular. Now, Model Y, they did something similar here in China. They launched and they also had a first edition of their vehicle, and that also got snatched up really, really quickly. People are buying it like crazy. Maybe there won't be a limit to the number of champion edition cars that you can get. And in that sense, it might just be a cutoff date. Sort of like how the Envoy had a founder's edition. And I guess anyone before a certain date that orders the 5566 can get the champion edition of the car. Like they could also do it that way. And if they do it that way, every vehicle, they get like 9,999 units times 40,000 per month. Very, very likely, because a lot of people have been waiting for these newer vehicles for a very, very long time. And we do ultimately expect these to sell well. Now, the biggest potential hiccup, all right, and I do have to share this with you, the biggest potential hiccup is the battery. Why am I saying the battery? Because if you think about it, the Envoy battery is already 800 volt architecture, right? It's not the same 400 volt architecture that NIO has right now. And of course, with the ET9 900 volt architecture, it doesn't only mean faster charging, but also means you can use less cables, better energy efficiency, just overall a much more efficient car, and you can drive further with that. So the biggest question is, will the new 2025 versions of ET5, ET5T, ES6, and EC6 have 900 volt or 800 volt batteries? Okay, that is the biggest question, because if they still have 400 volt batteries, well, the advantage of that is that all the battery swap stations have those batteries, so you're going to have convenience, right? Ultimate convenience. And of course, battery swap is always faster than charging. But the downside of that is you're still on 400 volt architecture. Everybody else, all the competitors, they're on 800 volt architecture, right? Even Envoy is on like 800 volt architecture. So do you want to be using last generation's tech? And also, what's very important is the fact that, think about it, the ET9 is already going to have 900 volt architecture, and the batteries are different from the ones that are currently existing in the swap station. So with the deliveries of the ET9, they're going to have to slowly and gradually place more of these 900 volt batteries into the swap station, the ET9 ones, okay? And the availability of that will have to increase in order for the ET9 to have the ultimate convenience and be able to swap at every station. So they got to put at least 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of these 900 volt batteries in the swap stations. And if that's the case, why not just shift the entire ecosystem to 900 volt for NIO vehicles, right? Why still be stuck on 400 volt? If the ET9 is going to be using 900 volt, why can't the ET5, ET5T, ES6, and EC6, the 2025 versions, use the 900 volt architecture, use the newer batteries as well, since you're already going to be adding those to the station? Now, the counter argument for that is the fact that that would mean they had to redesign the entire car from the ground up inside, including different control units and that kind of stuff. You would have to have different motors and stuff, and that is a very tedious process that could be done with a brand new car. But if you're looking at a refresh, 2025 refresh, it's just a yearly refresh, it's very unlikely that they're also going to be changing the motors, making it 900 volt compatible, and it seems very unlikely that they're actually going to upgrade the cars to 900 volt architecture. So it seems most likely that it's just going to be screens. They're going to use their own proprietary chips, and then design changes and more interior design changes, but they still might be using 400 volt, most likely. My guess is that they will still be using 400 volt architecture batteries for those cars, which will be, well, you still get the ultimate convenience, but it is something that you are kind of behind when it comes to comparing against competitors. The competitors will take your charging speed and say, hey, even though they have battery swap, we charge faster than them. The competitors will use that. So that is the one big hiccup that NIO really needs to potentially solve. And moving forward, they really need to upgrade the whole system to 900 volt, and then just have some 400 volt batteries for the existing NIO owners like me and the other guys that are using current first gen NIOs and some of the earlier second gen NIOs. But it's an eventual process. They eventually will have to make all the batteries 900 volt. It's just the progression of time. The longer it takes for them to do this, right, the more it's going to hurt sales, right? Everybody is selling cars that are on 800 volt architecture. You're still selling cars that are on 400 volt architecture. Even though you have all this high-tech stuff, it just doesn't look that well, right? Right? People will make that excuse. That's an Achilles heel that shouldn't be there, right? And totally resolvable. But nonetheless, the 2025 versions, just Champion Edition, I am extremely excited about this. I cannot wait for them to release this and then maybe have a time limit or have a limited amount of those cars, and people just rushing to snag up that car, snag up those cars. And that's really going to help boost deliveries to the next level, right? People have been waiting for horizontal screen NIOs for a very long time. They've been waiting for NIOs with good infotainment for a very long time, maybe a rear screen. That's going to be really nice. And I'm very excited. I don't know about you guys. The Champion Edition sounds amazing. There'll probably be some aesthetic differences inside the car as well. Badges and maybe some different decals or different special black kind of things. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.